Everybody, today I'm going to show you how to assemble and operate the Countertop ready-to-drink bag-and-box fridge.
They call it a Swanson.
Also known as the Swanson. To get started, we want to take our pump and put our input and output hoses on. You can see the flow is marked on the pump, and we have a quick disconnect port for our fittings. We also have our electrical connection and our on-off button. We'll start by putting our input in, which is our Shoelle connection. We'll take the fitting on the other end and put it in the input of the pump. Make sure our clip is pulled away from the pump. Push in our fitting, and we'll pop our clip back up towards the fitting to lock it in place. Give it a little tug to make sure it's locked in place, and we're good. We'll take our output that has the worm clamp on it, and we'll put the fitting opposite of that into the output. Same thing, we pull our clip away from the port, pop our fitting in, and push it back up towards the fitting. Make sure it's locked into place. This should be our end product. Our Shoelle connection tube going into the pump with our other end going out of the pump. Now we can put our shank and faucet assembly together. We'll start by grabbing this small collar, slipping it onto the shank from the barbed end towards the other end. Now we will grab the larger threaded collar and put that on behind the smaller collar. Make sure you have the threaded end pointing towards the opposite end of the barb. We can put our beauty ring on after that. And then we will thread our nut in a couple of threads to secure it until we install it later. Now we're going to install the faucet onto our shank. Just hand tight, and we'll tighten it down once it's on the machine. Just like that. We can throw our handle on, threads right on top. I want to show you guys how the spanner faucet wrench works. It has a little nipple on the end that will go into the indent on the collar. And we'll pop it into place, and you can rotate it around to tighten that collar. We'll do that later on. The last thing we want to do is take the internals out of our nozzle. These are in here if you're serving nitro coffee. We are serving still cold brew, so we don't need these. We'll put our nozzle back on our faucet. And put our pieces to the side. Now we can go ahead and put our pump inside the fridge. You see we have two Velcro strips on the back side of the pump on the plate, and we're going to align those with these two strips on the right inner wall of the fridge. First thing I like to do is plug the pump into the electrical connection so we don't have to do it while it's in the fridge. Now we'll place the Velcro strips next to each other, push firmly on the pump and firmly on the outside of the fridge until it clicks into place. Next up, we can put our shank in with our faucet attached. So we'll unscrew our nut and insert it from the outside in, and then we'll put our nut back on in the inside of the refrigerator. I'm going to show you guys how to do this with no tools. So obviously you could tighten that nut with a wrench, but if you hold the nut still with the faucet 180 out, you can tighten the faucet and the nut by hand. Now we can attach our output tube to the barbed end of our shank, and we'll tighten our wing nut that is on our worm gear. Only snug this up, as you don't want to strip out the worm gear, and you can always retighten when the fridge is operational. As I showed you before, we will use our spanner faucet wrench to tighten the collar and make sure our faucet is secure to the shank. Now I'm going to show you how to hook up your Shoelle valve to your cold brew bag-in box. We have to open this perforation, and we do not want to use anything sharp. I'm going to use the blunt end of a screwdriver to pop the hole out. Now we want to find our Shoelle port. It should be around the front of the box. And we will put it into place in the box. We're going to move this once we get our Shoelle valve connected, but we'll leave it like this for now. The last thing we need to do to get it ready to be connected is pop our shipping cap off, like so. This is how you connect the Shoelle connection to the Shoelle port. It's a regular threaded connection, so we'll twist it on righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, and you'll feel a little indent as it fully connects. Now we can install the bag-in box into the refrigerator. We'll keep the Shoelle port at the bottom like this, slide it in, and then we can connect our Shoelle connector just like we showed you. Now we're going to push the connector into the bag-in box and run the hose straight up the bag-in box so we leave as little room between the box and the front door of the fridge. It is a tight fit. Now we want to plug in our refrigerator, and we will plug in our pump. I'm going to take the bag-in box back out real quick and turn my pump on. I do like to do this after I have everything hooked up. Now you're going to hear that pump run because there's air in the lines, and it's going to keep running until you purge that air out. If you don't purge it out in time, the pump will time out and you'll have to turn it off and back on again. Now we're ready to serve some cold brew. You may get a little bit of air in your first pour, especially with the new lines and a new bag-in box, but that will purge out. Now the fridge is fully operational now, but I like to add one more thing. If the bag-in box gets a little beat up during shipping and bulges out, the refrigerator door doesn't like to shut. It likes to keep popping back open. So we have a really easy, inexpensive fix for this, and that's this refrigerator latch. It has some 3M adhesive on it, and it's a really great addition to this system. So to install this, the first thing we're going to do is take the tabbed end and we'll put it on the door right in the center. Push it firmly in place. And now we will take our notched end, Pull the film off to get the adhesive out. And I want to put the notch in the tab without putting the adhesive on the refrigerator so I know it's lined up, and then I can push firmly on it to adhere it to the refrigerator. Now we're nice and locked. We just push on that tab to release it. We open our door and it automatically latches when it shuts. Here's the operation from the front. And now we are 100% ready. And that covers the assembly and operation of the Countertop Ready to Drink bag-in-box fridge. Hope you guys enjoy it.